Hey troopers! Welcome to the 501st Com Chatter and welcome to the 100th episode
Of the
of
501st Com Chat.
I'm Will and this is Chloe.
Yes, hello.
And yeah, we've made 100 episodes.
We have.
Well, there's been 100 episodes of the 501st Com Chat. It's incredible. And that's not included stuff like I remember doing some not episodes but like little vids which were like Kenobi episode predictions. I think there was a couple of those, but
Like bonus episodes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this is like 100th episode of like actual episodes. That's mad. That is crazy.
Mhm.
And yeah, just before we get into the episode, want to say a shout out and a thank you to you listeners,
Yeah.
to everyone who has joined the Com Chatter, whether you've watched our episodes, you've listened to them, even if you haven't listened to every episode, you've listened to one.
Yeah.
You know,
We're thankful for
yeah.
you listening and, taking the time to be interested in what we're doing. So
yes,
There.
and by no means is this the end
no.
of the Com Chatter. We want to keep going a long time, but we just thought, this is a milestone, should we say? Because it is.
Yeah.
For 100th time, I've sat here and talked about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I can't go wrong with that. So again, but a thank you to all of you, to guests who've come on the show and like friends that we've made for it. We look forward to seeing what the future holds for the Com Chatter.
Yeah.
But there will be more of it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Shall we get in with the news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also thought I'd just point out in our background today.
Oh yes.
I've added one of my additions to this collection. So we have Will the Clone Trooper, we have Captain Rex, and then I've added my Mando helmet on the end.
Yeah.
Nice
little addition. Could have had the Trapper Wolf as well.
Yeah, I could have.
But no, I mean, one thing I will say is quite interesting seeing the height difference.
Yeah.
Between like the clone helmets and the Mando helmet. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot shorter.
Yeah. But it's a nice little addition
Yeah.
for us today.
For the 100.
So yeah. Shall we crack on with the news?
Yes. We have lots of news to get through.
Yes, and one very exciting bit to finish the news with.
Yes.
And I cannot wait. I'm so excited. But in personal news, so if you guys have been keeping up with us, you guys will know that I've wanted a patch jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been looking around, and I haven't really found one.
No.
And then I sort of found one a couple of weeks ago. In and ahhing, they then sold out. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll get another one. Today, found it. It's in store, so I bought it. Also, got to say, we can't find him on Instagram anymore, so we hope he's okay.
Yeah.
But the patches that I have currently on the jacket that we put on there today were very generously given to us from a previous guest that we had on. He goes by the name Alpine Vader. We do want to show him the jacket with the patches that he sent, because as much as I wanted a patch jacket when I went to Celebration, like, he has helped by sending these very cool 501st Alpine Garrison. So we just want to say thank you, Alpine. We don't know where you've gone on Instagram.
No.
And if
come back, we want to show you it.
Yes. So if any of you listen to this and you know the Alpine Garrison and you know Alpine Vader,
Check him out.
let us know where he's gone because we need him back. But yeah, so we will show that off on our Instagram probably maybe later tonight. So going into the news, starting with Vader, you guys might have noticed that Star Wars took over the Empire State Building.
Yep.
And there has been some really good photos. I could show you so many more.
Yeah.
This is one of my favourite pictures of it.
I just noticed there's this guy in the background. He's just like, oh, I'm
Is
in the
that-
shot.
Oh,
No, sorry.
sorry, I'll move out of it.
But yes.
Yes. So,
Very cool.
so this is obviously, I'm assuming, again, don't quote me on this, I think this is the New York garrison, maybe,
Yeah.
of the 501st, because, I mean, these stormtroopers are, like, impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
And this Vader is also incredible.
Yeah.
I want to know who this lucky Vader was,
Yeah.
because hopefully we can try and get him on the podcast for an episode to talk about the event, because he's a very lucky Vader, as you will see from the next photo.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there as well, that is Revenge of the Sith Vader, am I right? I think because of the
I'm
helmet's
not too
quite
sure.
thin, like quite in, and with the eyes as well. You're the Vader expert here.
Yeah, but now it's making me question it.
Oh,
I don't know.
I think that's Revenge of the Sith, like style Vader.
Hmm.
Because the eyes are really big and it's like symmetrical, really, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. I'm not too sure on that.
okay,
But he
Well-
does look very cool.
yes. And then we've got another photo from it. Again. Okay, well, I'm telling you from this photo, that is Revenge of the Sith Vader. Like, look at the eyes.
Yeah.
That literally looks like Hayden in the suit, like
Yeah.
at the end of the film. But yeah, so Hayden was obviously there as well to kickstart the event.
Mm-hmm.
Some really cool pictures with him sort of outside the Empire State Building, on top of it, turning the, switching the lights on and that. I bet this Vader is grinning inside, like I'm posing with Anakin.
With the actual guy who played Darth Vader. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's called the Empire State Building, so it's kind of like it's meant to be.
Yeah, I will say though, very interestingly, it was called like the Empire Takeover, which you can understand, Empire State Building,
Yeah.
taking over it. I did see that. Now I haven't put them all in here, but there were like Lego, like full size builds. There was a Darth Vader, and there was a Darth Maul, and I was a bit like, there's a bit of a weird one. But there was also other products there that you could buy and take photos of. Vader with a massive Funko here, as you can see. That is a big Funko. I don't think he will fit on my shelf.
No.
He's actually bigger than Hayden. So
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that is big.
Yeah.
Now these next ones that I've got here to show you,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love.
Yeah.
So they obviously lit up the Empire at night with the like projector on it and played, so we say Empire like clips. So this is one of my favorite ones with like the Rogue One scene, like iconic Vader. But then here's a collection of them. So we got
good.
Vader, end of Revenge of the Sith. Some reason Chewie.
Oh, that's
Vader from the Ahsoka flashback.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Mm.
TIE Fighter with the sunset. I think that's from Andor. I think from the one of the episodes with the heist. And then Darth Maul again. Again, nothing wrong with Darth Maul, but I just think him and the Chewie one sort of was a bit like, why are you guys in the Empire's So,
True.
but anyway, I thought they were quite cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Okay, so this is quite an interesting one for some of you. Again, not all of you are going to have a chance to get one of these.
I think this cup looks really cool.
So, for all of those who aren't watching this, it is a popcorn bucket and drinks cup, but like the large one, with the like new poster for episode 1, The Phantom Menace, back in cinemas. Poster. So it's got like Darth Maul and Padme, and then like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and then Anakin.
Yeah.
I really like it as a poster. You know, we put it up on here before.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's crazy to think it's 25 years since episode 1 as well.
I know.
Wow.
It's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is obviously, you know, quite a special one.
Yeah.
We will be trying to go to
the cinema.
We have to. We have.
I mean, it comes out. I think it's 3rd of May because it comes out on my birthday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will be checking if our cinema does.
It's ironic.
Does these cups?
I know. I mean, I would like
on the popcorn bucket, but I think the cup, like, if it's one of those ones you can reuse, might be quite cool.
Because that would be one of those like plastic ones. So I'd quite like that. I mean, the bucket is quite nice, you know, because not so much at the cinema, but you could like put crisps and stuff in it and have it as like a snack thing at home. But yeah.
And I really like the poster as well, like the Darth Maul eyes in the background. Yeah,
and then again, I love how it's like it's the main characters and it sort of narrows it down, doesn't it? So you got the big face of Maul, and you got Padme and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and then the silhouette of like little Anakin.
Tinykin.
Tinykin.
Tiny Anakin.
But yeah. So yeah, if you get one of those buckets or cups, let us know. Okay, so this is a bit of a weird one, and I think you guys will probably be like, why are you sharing this? But something interesting in my opinion.
Yeah.
So True Moo, if you don't know who they are like a milk company. They have teamed up with Star Wars to produce blue milk.
Yeah.
So you can have blue milk at home. Now, if I will admit it, if this is available, blue coloured vanilla flavoured milk with other artificial flavours.
So essentially, it's like a vanilla milkshake,
but blue.
But yeah, it's been coloured blue.
I will admit, I don't know if this is available in the UK.
Yeah.
If it is, I think I should try it.
Yeah.
Because I want to say that I've tried blue milk.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably just like a bit of food colouring with vanilla milkshake.
Yeah. I think that'd be quite nice.
But vanilla milkshake tastes really good. So.
Yeah. But yeah, here it is. It's a blue bottle. I don't know if it's a see-through one or the bottle is actually blue. I think it's blue.
Yeah.
But then, like, the little art on the front is quite cool.
I bet this is probably a lot cheaper than buying one glass of it at Disney.
Yes. I think it's quite expensive at the Disney Worlds. So we're on to the figures. I will leave these figures to you, Chloe.
So these are the Black Series figures. So we have Luke, and then Luke's clone, which is called Luke, but it's 2 U's for some reason.
So it's Luke.
Luke. And then we've got Mara Jade, and she has like a swappable head. And then we have
Joruus C'baoth.
I don't know how you pronounce that. Yeah.
C'baoth.
Joruus C'baoth. So
this is from the Heir to the Empire thing. I think.
They're from one of the comics. Because I know Mara Jade, she's Legends. I don't know Luke. I think essentially Luke was basically made a clone from when Vader chopped off Luke's hand in Empire.
Mm.
So they took the hand and they basically made another Luke out of it, and he's called Luke.
It's never gonna get old. Though.
No. But yeah, other than that, I've not read the comics, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure which
story.
one.
I know that Mara Jade and Luke end up being a couple.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure who this other guy is. I've never heard of him. But he has like electric hands, you know, like Palpatine.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool. And they all come with lightsabers as well. So yeah. Quite cool.
Yeah.
And it's nice how Black Series are doing like some different things as well. Like I've never seen them do a pack so big, with like 4
Yeah, it's
Black
a
Series
4-pack.
figures.
I think they are a little bit smaller though, I reckon, than the normal Black Series.
I think, yeah.
I think they're going to be more the size of like the vintage collection, maybe.
Possibly, yeah. Because I know, like, quite a while ago, they were doing like 3.75 figures, but they were Black Series.
Oh,
but
well, there you go then.
so maybe these are the same size as them. I'm not too sure. Don't quote us on this, but very cool how they've made like a 4-pack. And
Yeah.
if you're into Mara Jade and these comics, then very cool little pack to get.
Yep.
Now we have this next one. So a couple of weeks ago we showed.
I think it was last week.
Was it last week? Basically, Black Series, they're doing this new Holocom collection, and the last one we saw was a Darth Maul. Basically, it's kind of like the holo
Projector look.
Yeah, like a what's it called? Like a holo chip, kind of like a bounty chip.
Bounty
really.
puck.
Bounty puck. There you go. But it's like a holograph, like blue figure. That has a little stand, and then a little like Aurebesh name tag as well. So the one we saw last week was Darth Maul, and now they've released this Darth Vader one.
I think I said to you after we saw the I think I might have said it last week where I said I bet they're gonna do
like
a couple of these now, and I reckon one of them will be Vader. And then,
and
so they made Vader. I think they're quite cool. It's quite a cool little collection, shall we say? The like holocron versions of them.
Yeah, I think it's quite cool. It's probably not something I would buy because I feel like once you get one, you have to get like all of them.
Yeah.
But they're very cool. Again, like it's something different from Black Series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now this one I think is going to be very popular. So this is one of the new Hasbro Black Series
double packs.
Double packs, yeah. So this one comes in the new box that's kind of flat, and this particular box, we don't have a picture of it, but it doesn't have a window thing. It just has like kind of like artwork of these two characters, but it's basically a Phase 2 Reg clone and
a B1
Roger battle droid. Again, he doesn't have any specific coloring, so he's just a Reg battle droid. The clone, I've seen pictures of it without the helmet, so it does have that like Tim Morrison clone face. Very cool. I think this one is going to be very popular, and I think people are going to be buying multiples of it if they're trying to build like a little figure army.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if they want just like a Reg clone for like an army, and also clankers as well.
Yeah.
You can never have enough clankers because there's so many of them.
True.
So yeah,
I will say when you showed me this figure, the first thing that I noticed, and I was like, it's a bit weird. They had them posed in different ways, and one of the first photos had the clone like holding the blaster like out in front of him, like two hands as if he was like bloody like James Bond. Like. I was like, it looks a bit weird.
And then there was another one
where he sat
like,
on it.
Sat on the cranker. So I don't know. They're a bit odd.
But I like this picture.
But this one was the best one, so this is one we've gone with for the episode.
Yeah.
I think this is really cool. Might consider it for the collection. Because
I like this one.
he's a clone. We already have this little like 501st dude
We
here.
do actually, yeah.
So he can join his little brother.
You can. I actually really like this 501st Trooper. I've moved in now, so he's right next to the computer. So
yeah,
he's part of the collection.
So this one, it's another Black Series set. They're coming out with loads recently. So this one, they're all in one box, and it's called the Masters of Evil set, and it comes with 3 figures. So we have Thrawn, Vader, and General Grievous, which I thought was a bit random. However, they do look really cool, these figures. Like, I think it's just a case of they don't really go together.
I think Grievous and the Vader make quite good ones because it is sort of Master of Evil.
Yeah.
But I think maybe you could have gone with, like, I don't know, Dooku or Darth Maul, you know, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Thrawn seems to have some sort of weird cat.
Yeah.
Like loaf cat on his shoulder.
I'm not sure what he's got wrapped around his shoulder. It's a bit blurry, this picture, but
it looks like a loaf cat, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I know it's not a loaf cat because I'm sure I've seen a different picture of it, but yeah.
Yeah, the Grievous one's quite cool, I like.
Yeah, I mean Grievous, he looks kind of blue though.
Yeah.
And then he's got this weird white cape on him, and I'm sure he didn't have a white cape in.
Oh, this might be like the Clone Wars animated series,
Yeah.
like the 2D one, if you know what I mean.
Because I know in Revenge of the Sith he had like a black cape and then had like a red lining to it. And he's like, these will make a fine addition to my collection. He puts them in the little pocket inside. But this definitely isn't that cape. But very cool little set, especially if you are a figure collector and you don't have a Thrawn or a Grievous or this kind of Vader in your collection. Yeah, very cool, very nice, and yeah, I still don't have a clue what Thrawn's got on his shoulder.
True.
Let's go to the next one. Okay, so we have some vintage collection figures. This one is the HK-87 Assassin droid, which you really like these droids because of Revan, don't you?
Well, sort of. I mean, not these ones particularly. I thought they were all right in Ahsoka, but
Yeah.
I liked HK-47,
which was an older model, but
yes. But, you know, still
very cool.
a very cool figure.
Especially if you have like a little Ahsoka collection and you want to recreate the scene where she was like fighting these guys, then that's pretty cool. I think it might have been nicer if they had like the little lightning bits to go on the end of the, you know, kind of like the Magna Guards do.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool figure. The next one is a Dark Trooper from The Mandalorian. Now we've already had a vintage collection Dark Trooper.
But it was in the box. It was in that sort of weird box. Because I've got one or had one somewhere. It's here somewhere, but it was in a square box. You know the ones that I mean?
No.
You know, it was like it's not like that, but it's like.
Was it not vintage collection?
It was vintage collection. Huh?
Yeah. Well, anyway, the Dark Troopers, there was quite a few of them anyway, so even if you have the previous Dark Trooper, you put this one next to it, and it, you know, you create your own little hallway scene with Luke Skywalker.
As you should.
Yes, very cool. And now we have actual pictures from this HasLab Ghost set that everyone like put in like votes for or something.
No, it was every time someone like bought one.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
It would count as an order, and they had to reach so many certain orders to unlock all the figures.
Yeah, and
they did.
Do it.
Incredibly, I don't know how you guys did it, but you did it.
No, But here is the official pictures of like the Ghost and the whole crew, Phoenix Squadron. Very cool, and especially if you love Rebels, then
It's a nice little collection to have.
yeah, you're gonna love these.
Oh, okay, here we go. This, can I talk about this?
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Okay, so for those who are not watching this, so you know how I love my Funkos. You know how I am a Funko collector.
The Funko Pops.
Yes, I have quite a few. My treasured one is my Rex with
Still in the box.
still in the box, still in the protector case. He won't ever come out, sadly, but that is my prized possession. But the holy grail of Funko Pops for Star Wars fans, one of the ones right at the top on everyone's wish list is a 501st Clone Trooper. Now, they have made one before. It's an old version. You can tell from the shape of the helmet and everything, and the arms as well. It's just a little bit like old, but it is currently, I think it's worth like 1,500 or something. 1,000, like
that is wild. I would never pay that for a Funko.
I know, but it is like one of the holy grail ones,
Like bearing in mind, this one looks way better.
I haven't got to that bit yet. I haven't got to that. So what we're showing you here is, now we have been seeing for like the last week photos of this.
Yeah, it was like a
Funko
GameStop exclusive, but
in
over
Canada.
here we don't have a GameStop. I think they're only in America and Canada.
Yeah, but this was supposedly, I think, like a GameStop exclusive Canada.
For Canada, yeah.
It wasn't on their website.
No.
We'd seen pictures, and I was saying to you, it's a fake one. It's not real,
Yeah.
Then
Then
I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Yesterday? Yesterday.
Yeah.
So yesterday, right? This is brilliant. Yesterday in the morning, I get a message from Chloe being like,
"Oh my god,
look what's here." So
I was looking on the Funko website to see what new stuff they were having, and
so I've gone.
This came up.
I've gone on to the FunkoEurope.co.uk website, seen it, and within 10 minutes, within 1 minute, I have bought this.
I was gonna say 10 minutes. Yeah.
Within a minute, I bought this.
Yeah.
Because it is a newer version. It looks better. It's like cleaner.
I mean, I sent you the photo, and I was like, "Oh my god, look at this!" And then you'd seen it, and then I put, "It's your favorite," and then
I responded.
And then you responded about a minute later, and you were like, "It's done."
I had to.
Yeah.
Like this Funko.
You just sent me like a screenshot of like, "Your order is confirmed."
I had to. I couldn't hold back because I didn't want to miss this. It's like,
yeah.
Because for example, the 332nd Trooper.
Yeah.
From the Ahsoka flashback is now not on Funko at all.
Yeah.
So
if any of you guys know about that, let us know, because we want to get that Funko as well. But
definitely.
It's not available anymore.
But yeah, no, so that's not available.
No.
But it is the exact same pose as the figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like what they've done very cleverly, they've just put a 501st helmet on it and redone the box and that. But the box is actually,
it's from The Mandalorian.
It's a Mandalorian. See, this is what I think is so weird. I'm getting a 501st Clone Trooper Phase 2, and it's in like from the Mandalorian series, but it's like the Grogu flashback.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a bit weird, but I'm getting the figure, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do one for Kenobi, to be fair, because there was a lot of 501st in Kenobi. Although the ones in Kenobi had like a bit of a different.
They were a little bit
color.
A little bit teal. Almost.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there, but.
But no, could you imagine if they did? I can't remember. They've actually given him a name in the like visual book or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they did a Funko of the homeless 501st
Oh.
with his
yeah.
helmet? Like, oh, that'd be a
I
heartbreaker.
think
one.
his name was Nax.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
It was
Nax.
Nax.
Oh, that would be a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
One.
That'd
Spare
be
any
cool.
credits.
Yeah.
And a shout out to, I think it was,
Bounty helmets.
yeah, Bounty
Who
Helmets.
played him that Star Wars Celebration last year.
Fantastic.
So good.
So good. And that video afterwards where he was like showing off all the like patches and coins that he got from like other people, like fair play.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Maybe that's what I've got to do.
Yeah.
To get patches for my jacket.
Just be a homeless 501st man.
But yeah,
It'll be
so
fun.
this is another thing that we've got ordered. So
Yeah. So this will be added to our collection.
and I've had
very
the email
soon.
saying it's shipped. So next week we probably will be showing this one off.
Very cool.
Right, now before we get into the Bad Batch, I know we've been talking for quite a while,
Yes.
but we have to talk about a little trip that we took
Yeah.
over the weekend.
Mhm.
It wasn't a short trip,
No.
it was a long trip. We had to go up and down, and then coming back, we had to then go down country roads. It was a long trip, but worth it.
Yeah.
We went
Okay.
to the National Film and Sci-Fi Museum in Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Now, if any of you guys have been there, you know how good it is.
Yeah.
If you haven't, put it on your list to go see to.
Yeah.
Now, sadly, you're not allowed to take pictures, which is a bit disappointing because you want to be able to look back at your journey and the time and stuff. But it's like, we were very tempted, but we didn't want to risk it. And but not just Star Wars, but there was other films like stuff there. So, for example, if any of you have seen Tron Legacy, they had Sam Flynn's worn suit from that.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Addams Family, they had like Morticia's and all the families like outfits that they wore.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff in the collection is screen used or like what was seen
Like
on
replica.
screen. Yeah. But they do have a couple of things that are like replicas but assigned by the actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They did have a large Star Wars collection.
They did.
Like stuff. And they had lots of stuff that were in the Star Wars films.
Yep.
Now, me and you have been rewatching these films and being like, oh my God, there it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. So we take it in turns naming something then. Okay. So I'm going to go first because I know what you want to say. So I'm going to leave that for you. I'm going to start off with they had a Peter Mayhew screen used Chewbacca costume. Holy moly, was this guy tall?
He was so tall. I wish we could take a picture because I would have stood next to it and you would see how much taller he was compared to me.
I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
And even I was like looking up at it like this guy's a giant.
Yeah.
And it was so intact as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. I don't know if it's been restored or what, but the hair looked immaculate on it. A lot of the things there looked quite used, but this one,
it was so fantastic.
Good. You would have thought it would be from one of the new films or something because it was in such good condition. But
it was.
Brilliant. It was used by Peter Mayhew, so.
I wish we could find out which films this one was in.
Yeah.
Some of the others you could tell it said, but this was I'd like to have known this one.
Yeah.
You name something.
I feel like I shouldn't leave the big one to.
Okay. We'll leave the big one then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So they had Greedo's mask. So from the scene where Han is in the cantina and then him and Greedo have this like shoot off, and then I say that Han shot first, but you know everyone has their own opinions on that.
Okay.
But Greedo was like the like
Rhodian.
lizard. Yeah, he's kind of like a lizard, got a green face and like big eyes, and he has like
Jeez, no,
yeah, yeah.
Najoska.
Yep, there you go. There's was impression.
I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, it
actually,
was good.
Very good.
So yeah, he speaks in a different language, but yeah, they had his original mask there, and
You could see it was like frail. You could see the like around the neck, especially, it was quite like worn and flaky. Like it's all rubber, you know, like.
And like his mouth as well, because his lips are kind of like.
Yeah, they were a bit
and
like.
They were a bit chapped. And I think he had like a slight hole in like the head bit.
Okay, yeah. You got to remember, this is from 1976 that they filmed it. You know,
it's
so
crazy.
It's a fact that some of these pieces were in such good condition, and you know. But then when you look at some of the other stuff, it's like you can understand why it was like that. And just to say on the Greedo thing, McClunky came out of those lips.
Yeah.
McClunky was said. So I like that. My turn?
Yes.
Yoda.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me reframe that. Parts of Yoda.
Yeah.
So
what's left of him? So we're talking about the Yoda puppet.
Yes.
That was in
Empire Strikes Back. So it was.
We're talking like 1980.
Yes, I think.
So
it was basically it was his legs, his hand, his walking stick, and then basically they'd also made like a puppet mold hand for the guy like controlling him. So that was also there. And I will admit, his legs were very disintegrated.
Yeah.
You know, they had like a little bit of colouring on, but you could still see the shape of them.
Yeah.
You know it was his leg. You'd look at it and you'd be like, oh, that's Yoda.
Yeah.
But then his hand and the walking stick were really good like condition. It was like
his hand was just kind of like,
and I was just like, oh my god, it's Yoda.
Yeah.
It's like
one of Yoda's hands and both of his legs from the original like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
From the original puppet. I mean, I don't know if they had multiples, probably.
I think they would have had multiples, but again, obviously, you know,
but
like
it's wild how like we've seen that on screen so many times, and like we didn't even realize it was there, and we're just there looking at parts of Yoda. Like this is from the original trilogy of Star Wars, and we're looking at parts of it. It's crazy.
I think maybe because of how long this episode is going to be, because of Bad Batch as well, maybe we should speed run it a little bit.
Okay.
So name something else.
We had Tarkin slippers.
Yes. Briefly, if you don't know the story, Peter Cushing, whenever they were filming,
his
like,
boots were too tight.
Yeah, and he didn't feel comfortable in them. So any shot that was like from the waist up, he had these slippers on, you know, and we've seen them very comfortable.
Yeah.
We've seen Gold Leader, so the Y-wing pilot in A New Hope. Saw his helmet. This is Gold Leader. We're making an attack run.
Yeah. We've seen Darth Maul. Well, half of Darth Maul's lightsaber from the Phantom Menace.
Yes. So when Kenobi like cuts it in half.
Yeah.
That was quite cool with a new Naboo guard blaster.
Yep.
They had Luke's Red 5 helmet and lightsaber from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, so it's green one.
So we've seen the actual lightsaber, and it's so weird because you can see like the bottom of it has started to rust a bit.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's so iconic. It's like
probably because it's in. No, I was going to say probably because it's in the snow, but it's from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Not quite.
But yeah, no.
What else did they have? Oh, they had basically, I think it's called a Duros species.
Cad Bane. Yeah.
Cad basically looks like Cad Bane, but it's in the background of the cantina scene. So they had one of those like alien masks there, and again you can see like little cracks in it, but really cool.
Yep. They had a AT-AT, model head from one of the puppets, or not puppets, but the like stop motion models
Yep.
that they used in Hoth, and they also had a destroyed head that was used when it got one of the AT-ATs got blown up, by the snow speeders and that.
Yep.
So that was quite cool seeing those.
Cool. They had like a poncho that said Blue Harvest on it.
Yeah, so it was from one of the crew who worked on Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
Very cool. He had a full Jawa costume that was used.
Yeah.
That was cool.
They had a stormtrooper helmet.
TIE pilot helmet as well.
Blaster. Yeah, they had a TIE pilot helmet.
They had a lot of blasters as well. They had one of the Jawa ones.
Yep.
That we see in A New Hope. Yeah, there's so much, guys. Like, honestly, go check out. We'll just name a couple more. There was like some parts of like C-3PO.
Yep. There was Imperial costumes.
Bosk.
Oh yeah, Bosk and IG-88's
head.
Yeah, and IG-88's head was like this big. It was crazy.
It is a big head, I will be honest.
It was massive. I thought it wasn't that big when you watch it in the film, but amazing. Bosk is like the lizard creature.
Yeah,
where in like the no disintegration scene where you've got Bosk, IG-88,
Dengar, Forlom, and Zuckuss,
and then you got Boba Fett.
Boba.
So that's where these two masks were.
That was very cool.
Again, Bosk, you could see like the wear on the edge of it. It was all a bit crusty. And then the big one.
I'm just thinking, is there any other little things that we should mention before? Oh, they did have some like sketches and actual original concept art and some script pages from like the original Star Wars.
And they had
signed Boba Fett helmet. They had a helmet right at the end, remember? It was signed by.
It wasn't screen
but it was signed.
I'm not.
It wasn't screen used, but it was signed by like Tem, I think, or Jeremy Bullock. But yeah.
And they had Princess Leia's necklace and the medal. So we've seen her dress at Star Wars Celebration, but now we've actually seen the necklace she wore with the dress and the medal that she gives. Like, is either Han or Luke.
Yeah.
Because obviously she got two of them.
Briefly, last little couple of other bits. They had a K2SO.
Yeah.
R5. There was also like some building set stuff, like like scenery stuff from.
Chair.
Oh yeah, there was a chair from Millennium Falcon R5.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was like in Empire when the Millennium Falcon like on the back of the Star Destroyer, they had that model, the actual model used for it, and I remember watching it the other day. I was like, oh my god, look at it!
But it wasn't like a full-size Star Destroyer. It was just like part of it.
Yeah, but it was still massive. Like, if that was connected to a Star Destroyer model, it'd have been huge.
Yeah,
but very cool. Any others?
They had lots of like blasters there.
Yeah, they did have quite a few blasters. I think they had like a Rebel helmet as well with the gold, like an Endor.
Yeah.
Endor helmet.
Oh, they had the Ewok babies as well.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which was really cool. And again, you could see the age with like the sort of skin pieces. They looked a bit crusty.
It was still cute.
But
it was still very cute.
They're big eyes.
I think the big one.
Yeah. So the big one.
Well, we say the big one. It's our big one because it's our favorite.
Yeah. So we seen a Darth Vader helmet and shoulder piece. So this was worn by Dave Price in some shots in Empire and then some shots in Return of the Jedi.
Yes, so I will put it out. It does say it was worn by Dave Prowse and the stunt performers in Return of the Jedi and Empire. But I was watching Empire the other night, and most of the film, it's different. But then in the fighting sort of scenes, you can see
the shoulder.
This was definitely it. It had like a little hinge on it.
Yeah.
So you could sort of move your shoulders more.
But it wouldn't like fall off.
Yeah. Very cool.
Very cool. and you could also notice, like, I've heard this from Vader cosplayers, that like the sort of cheek pieces, one of them was like a graphite grey, and then the other one was black, and then you could actually see it like on the nose piece as well, and other little bits. They painted them like a graphite grey because on camera it's very difficult to show all the features of his mask when it's all just black, especially glossy black as well. So that's why they did it, so that you could see more of Vader's like mask. But again, you could see the wear on it, like certain bits of the paint had chipped off or
Flakes
cracked.
and,
And yeah, it was really cool how you could like always see yourself in Vader's eyes. Like,
But it was a little bit
doesn't actually-
intimidating because, like I said, it was just the helmet and the like shoulder bit.
Yeah.
But you're like looking at it and you're like it was a little bit like okay, it's Vader, but
And
no.
also it had like a little hole where like the chain would go, which I thought was quite cool.
But that for me, that was like the
Best.
cool bit,
Yeah.
the best bit.
Yeah. I mean, Vader's like my favorite character, so seeing that, like a screen used Vader outfit from the original trilogy as well. Like even though it was just his helmet and like the shoulder piece, like it was so cool to see.
Yeah.
They also had like the little headpiece, didn't they?
Oh yes, that Sebastian Shaw
Yeah.
wore in Return of the Jedi. So it's like a bold skull cap, but it had like the mark, the like lightsaber marks and all that on the back.
When
like,
Luke like takes
Yeah.
Vader's mask off at the end, and then you see like a shot of the back of Vader's head.
Yeah.
Like his real head, not just the helmet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was obviously
cool.
like a skull cap, but yeah, very cool to see.
Yeah. And the fact that was worn by Sebastian Shaw and the other one was worn by David Prowse, and it's like we've seen these, we grew up watching these on
It's
the
incredible.
TV. We're actually seeing it right now.
So yeah,
Amazing.
definitely. Oh, another thing that they had, but it was like just something really interesting to see. They had a massive like collection that has been loaned to them from some guy, and it's just the old retro Star Wars vintage toys. So these were all the like figures that originally came out in like 77, 78. You had like the original Jawa with like the brown like plastic cape. I was like,
before it changed.
holy moly! They had
the
Yak Face.
Yeah,
like
and the Boba Fett that everyone says is worth so much money, and they were selling some of them as well.
I know, this is the thing
It
as
was
well.
like £500
You finished
for a figure.
You finish the exhibition, and then they have this like they're really crafty. They have this massive shop, and it's just filled with like figures and retired Lego sets, vintage comics. We actually bought a vintage Return of the Jedi comic from '85, I think it was, or something. But I was like, I want this because I want to have something from that sort of era that's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, they were charging. They had like these vintage figures you could actually buy.
They had some like old Hot Toys there.
Oh,
they had
signed
Funkos,
pictures, signed Funkos.
so much signed stuff. Like you could buy some of these autographs were really expensive. Mine, like they had Carrie Fisher.
900 quid. Now, I get it. She isn't around anymore, so anything she signed is obviously going to be so much because you can't get it anymore.
I think they had like a signed Mando helmet. They had like Katie Sackhoff signed Bo-Katan figures. So much
many
stuff.
So many, and we could talk about it. We could do a whole episode.
I know.
And we haven't even started on Bad Batch yet. But
also, I thought I'd just quickly mention there is an arcade built onto it as well. So there was a couple of Star Wars arcade machines. There was a Star Wars pinball.
That was fun, and it was all free to play, by the way.
Yeah, so worth it, honestly. Amazing. So yeah, you could like be shooting one of the TIE fighters. There was like a few different Star Wars games. Also, like as you walk in, there was a B1 battle droid. There was a mouse droid, and then
There's a bunny droid as well from like
Yeah.
the Clone Wars that we see. There
yeah.
was also, I think it was in
Those
Attack of the Clones.
ones that are with Pelly.
Oh, the pit
Tatooine.
droids.
Yeah, they had them. They had one of them. And then they had some like ships that were hanging down.
They had
So
a big
had
Naboo's M1.
Naboo Starfighter, and then they had some TIE fighters hanging from the ceiling, and they had this big poster, and it was episode 2, and it was Anakin and Padme, and I was like, oh my god, love it, I want one. And then Sally didn't sell that one.
It was huge though. It was like the size of the wall behind
and then
us.
for like sequel trilogy people, they had some Sith troopers, and then they had like an original stormtrooper, which wasn't very good, like just statues in the window. And then there was a couple like Lego built figures around, like there was a big Rey and a big Boba Fett. Really cool place, honestly.
And I think it was 15
I want to go
quid
there
each.
again. Yeah, crazy price. I think it was like 15 or 16 quid each.
About 15 quid to get in, or maybe a little bit more, but like 15
Yeah.
something. But you know, that was crazy.
So good. Definitely would recommend.
So yeah, that was a fun little weekend we had.
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
on to the Bad Batch. I know, it's been a long time.
I mean,
but
it's the 100th episode.
Yeah.
It was going to be longer.
yes. So we start on this shot of like sort of coming through the clouds to Pabu. Now this is obviously someone in a breakdown video we saw said that this is the first time that we've seen Pabu. Is it Pabu?
Yeah.
Like grey and murky and cloudy.
Yeah, like
It's
usually
always like
really
sunny
bright,
paradise.
happy.
Now I will say as well, I had to do a double take when I first watched this because the animation looked so good. I was like, is this live action? Like, it was so detailed. This picture doesn't do it justice, but the shot and the water and the like little lights on the city, it was almost like a model that they've taken, like a video of.
Yep.
So good. Nice to see that we're back here again.
Yep.
Now, before we actually get into the episode, I'm going to give you guys a little heads up. I was a little disappointed with it, but we'll get to that in a bit. But so we see Crosshair sort of helping out the locals.
Yep.
Sort of see that he's getting involved now with the
Yeah, I think Wrecker says something like, "Oh, you made a new friend."
Yeah, which is quite cool, seeing they've got their sort of banter, and Hunter comes over and he's like, still nothing from Fennec.
Yeah.
Then Crosshair's like, when do we wait for intel, sort of thing?
Yeah.
And he's right, but Hunter's also right, and he's like, it's the only thing that we've got as a lead. Like, we want to know what we're prepared with Omega. And then we see Omega sort of on the beach with Batcher.
Yeah.
Batcher
I love Batcher.
Batcher is a star of the season.
I say this every week, but yeah, I love Batcher.
If they did a Funko of Batcher, would you want it?
Maybe. Although I feel like we'd have to get the whole batch then, and I'm like,
true. Oh, I've got the
know.
Hunter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we sort of see Batcher chase some of these lemurs. I can't remember the name. I think we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. But she chases after them, comes across a cave, and she's like sort of growling a little bit, like, don't want to go in there.
I don't get why it all happens in caves. Like, why does, it's like on Dagobah when Luke goes into the cave and he ends up killing Darth Vader. But it ends up being in. It's like, always happens in a cave.
Yeah. But, so we get that, and then obviously Omega's like, we've been in here loads of times. Like, it's fine. Goes in there and sees a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a cool looking ship, not too bad.
Yeah.
And then she's like looking at it, and then Batcher's like,
Yeah.
turns around, and then we have the introduction back into Star Wars. Asajj Ventress is back.
I mean, being a dog owner myself, like,
I was wondering where you were going with that.
as soon as Batcher was like, no, we're not, there's something wrong here, I'm not moving any further forward, I was like, no, don't go in that cave, Omega. And she just said, like, come on, Batcher. And then, yeah, we saw the ship, and I was like, oh no, who's that? And I was like, oh, it might be Ventress. And then there you go. There she is.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like, then we see the return in Star Wars, Asajj Ventress. And then you're like, as a dog owner, as a dog owner,
Batcher, because clearly Batcher didn't want to go in that cave, and I'm like, there's a reason behind it. Anyway,
then we see Asajj.
We saw Asajj Ventress.
And then the rest of the squad of Clone Force 99 have come to the beach to
because Batcher kind of runs out of the cave, doesn't he? And then they see him.
And he's like,
sorry, her. Is it her?
Yeah.
Batcher's her.
Batcher's a her.
Sorry, guys. So Batcher runs over to the other guys, and they're like, hold on, where's Omega? I think her, Wrecker says it. So then they all run over because they're like, oh my god. There's a scene where Hunter obviously hears Wrecker say that, and then he sort of looks and he's like, yeah, you're right. And then starts running. So yeah, then they run over to Omega, and then Ventress has her like grabbed by the arm. She's pulling her out, and then she's like, let me go. And then Hunter's just there like, you heard her, let her go. And she's like, gladly.
Yes, in her very Asajj way.
Yes.
She's also rocking the look from Dark Disciples, the novel, and the unfinished Clone Wars arc, which Dark Disciples is basically from.
Yeah.
Where she's got like hair, but it's like coming over to sort of one side. So she's rocking this new look.
Yeah.
And then she reveals that Fennec sent her. So we do know that
episode was confirmed. It's definitely Asajj.
I was right.
You was. And then obviously she says, I heard you're wanting to know about M count.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, you shouldn't be, trying to get intel about that because it can cause the wrong attention. Like,
why do you want to know about it, sort of thing?
Yeah.
And then Omega being Omega accidentally
it's for a friend.
says it's for a friend, but then reveals it.
She's like, you're saying I'm a Jedi.
Yeah, Omega's like, I'm a Jedi.
Yeah.
And there's like,
because she obviously explains like something in the blood,
Interestingly, though, how she explained it, because she was like, it's a living thing, it's midichlorian. It is living thing that's in everyone, but she said you have to be trained.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting, because I know some people will be like, yeah, but Anakin, wasn't trained originally, and he had this high camp,
Yeah.
all stuff like that, and it's all very up in the air about it, but
yeah.
Interesting that she was like, you gotta be trained, basically.
Yeah. And then obviously, because Hunter and all the clones, they're soldiers of the Republic, they work with Jedi, and it's like, are you saying that like this is something that Jedi have? And then obviously Omega's are like, are you calling me a Jedi? And then she's let the cat out of the bag, and Ventress now knows that she's...
I think Ventress knew anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any like...
You can't pull the wool over Ventress' eyes.
So then she's like, well, you've got the intel now. You know why they're doing it.
Yeah. Be safe. Basically.
See you later.
Yeah.
And then Omega's like,
nope.
Test me. Oh, she mentioned something about a test. Yeah. And then Omega's like, well, test me, see if I've got it.
Yeah.
And then Ventress eventually agrees.
Yeah.
And she says it's like 3 tests, and we get this interesting one for the first test where she's got to stand on slippery rocks with 1 foot with a fruit on her head.
Yeah.
And like balance.
Yeah.
And Omega's not getting it at all. She's
No.
not really, like concentrating.
No.
And then there is a little bit where she starts concentrating and they play like flute music. And it's almost like, I thought they were going to do Binary Sunset.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it changes. But it's like, she has clearly in this moment sort of tapped in, I guess, like a little bit. And Asajj is like watching her carefully. But over her shoulder are the clones. Like watching her intensely, shall we say.
Yeah.
And then Crosshair comes over and he mentions he's been going through Rex's Tech's Republic files.
Yeah.
And he goes, it is her.
Yeah.
It's Asajj Ventress.
Yeah.
And he shows the data pad and it's got like Ventress and it's quite funny because it's almost like a profile picture, isn't it?
It
like
is,
on
yeah.
that you'd get on like Facebook or something. If Asajj in the Clone Wars was on Facebook, that would be the like picture, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And she obviously like hears them and
and they're saying that she's a separatist from
the
war.
Like what's she doing? And they're a little bit unhappy with her.
Yeah.
So then Omega falls over from like she's distracted.
Yeah.
So Asajj, I think this second task was mainly to basically get Omega away so the clones and her could talk.
Yeah.
And she runs off to get the tree from the tallest, like, or get the blossom from the tree at like the top of the island.
Yeah.
And she's got to do it before the sun sets, sort of thing. Then we get a confrontation between Asajj and the Clone Force 99. And they sort of have a bit of back and forth, like, you're sort of a separatist sort of thing. And like, she's like, oh, you're going to have to fight me or something. So she then, like, they pull out their weapons and she, like, forces them away. She's like, no cheating.
No.
And then she basically batters them.
Yeah.
And then during the sort of fighting, Crosshair goes over to the weapons, chucks them back to the clones, to Hunter and to Wrecker.
Yeah.
And the Bad Batch theme starts playing. I was like, oh, I love it. That was always like, oh, okay, this is good. This is good. And then they sort of start shooting at her a little bit. And
I think she says something like, I didn't come here to kill you, but you're making it very tempting.
Yeah.
Or something.
Something like that. And
but this is the shot we saw in the trailer where she's there.
Yeah. And then she gets out her lightsaber, her yellow lightsaber, and is like, vroom, 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 vroom.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool scene. For me, one of the like best little bits.
Yeah. And it's rare that we see yellow lightsabers in Star Wars. There's not very many of them. So. And
as you guys can tell as well, she's got the curved hilt that she had, from Dooku, because obviously Dooku would have taught her this is the better one. So. So we get that, and then we get this really cool shot as well before it goes crazy.
Yep.
And it's like the Bad Batch.
Yep.
Against
Asajj.
Yeah. In the foreground with like the blurred.
Oh.
It's almost like like an Order 66 thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
clones and Jedi.
Yeah.
But I love this image in total. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Very cool.
So then we see Omega go, and she finds Batcher.
Yeah.
She's like, I need your help.
Yeah.
So then uses
Batcher
Batcher.
get the
It was
power.
like a little like ride to
Mhm.
hurry things along. She comes back to Crosshair, like basically almost like knocked out. The yellow lightsaber pointing at Hunter, and she's
then
force
Wrecker
choking
He's like, in
Wrecker.
the air.
It's like, oh my god!
She's like, what's going on?
And Hunter's like, she's a war criminal.
Yeah.
She's like, we're the same or something. We're pawned from.
Yeah.
We were both pawns in this like same war, and we all lost.
Yeah.
And everyone lost. Sort of
She
thing.
says like, I'm not your enemy.
And then she sort of disappears.
Yeah.
And then we could sort of cut to the Bad Batch on the Marauder,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, you can't trust Omega, you can't trust
No.
Asajj.
And she's there like, but people change. Like, we're not in the war anymore. Like,
She's like, I don't know anything about the war, but
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then Crosshair says something, doesn't it?
yeah,
Like,
he says like, oh, you're being naive, and she's like, well, I never gave up on you.
and he's just like,
And he's like, ooh,
fair point.
you can't ignore. Yeah.
Okay, fair. He's like,
Oh,
all right,
dear.
okay, you got me there.
Yep. You can't say no to that.
Um,
So then she goes back to Ventress.
yeah,
And then Ventress is like, come on my boat.
I love it how first she's like, sort of, she goes up to Asajj and is like, you right? Basically,
Yeah.
and she's like, no chaperone. She's like, nope, I'm by myself, sort of thing. She's
Yeah.
with Batcher, and then she's
you're
like,
a very
you're an unusual clone,
Yeah,
aren't you,
that's
or
it.
something like that. You're an
Yeah.
unusual clone. She's like, yep.
Yep.
Um,
So what we do? She's like, okay, come on, this boat.
and she was like something like, I swear as well. She's like, plus you didn't leave or something, so I think you
Yeah.
like us or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And
as
then Omega's like smiling.
because she's also like,
stop smiling.
it's
You're making it
unsettling.
unsettling. Yeah.
Because she was like, you failed the first task.
Mm.
She was like, but I'll pass the second.
Yeah. Yeah. Bless her.
So they go out on this boat,
Yeah.
and
Because she's like, you need to focus. You need to get away from this island and everyone watching you. We're just gonna chill on this boat and you can concentrate.
now this is one of my favorite
Yeah.
funny moments, and I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So they go out on this boat, and Omega, she's told Omega to sort of stand there, reach out with the Force, and connect with like the creatures and the living beings around her. And she's, and then we see Omega sort of doing it through the like sort of like scope and binoculars of like Crosshair and Wrecker and Hunter, who are watching from like the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And Hunter's like, Wrecker's like, oh, I don't like this or something. And Crosshair's like, Hunter's like, we gave Omega our word we wouldn't get involved. And Crosshair's like, you gave your word.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And then we get this brilliant shot. I love this, where Wrecker zooms in with his like binoculars.
Yeah.
And he zooms in on Omega, and he looks over at Asajj, and she just like turns and looks back at like straight at him, and he's like,
like she's onto us.
But it's like the little gasp that he makes. He's like, how can she see us? That was one of my favorite bits, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just to like look back, like straight at him, he's like,
yeah.
how can she
Love
see
that.
us? That was brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we can see that Omega's, for whatever reason, and it's quite weird, and it's not like Omega this, but she's not interested really. She's like, oh, it's not working, it's useless.
Yeah. She's like, you don't even know like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I can't remember. What
And
she
then
said.
like Ventress is like, goes and literally does the same, and like the boat starts getting encircled by like these green luminescent fish
And then
creatures.
Omega's just like, oh my gosh.
What?
James, what have you done?
And then all of a sudden, this big, shall we say, like shell
Yeah.
creature appears
Yeah.
out of the water, and basically the Clone Force 99 is like, bugger, this ain't good.
No.
So they quickly get in the Marauder.
And then Omega has her little like con with her, and she's like, "Guys, Ventress has it." Or
Wait. You're missing a bit.
Okay,
You're
sorry.
missing a bit. So the creature basically flips the ship, the boat.
The little boat, yeah.
And they sort of crawl onto the sort of back of it, like the upside down of it. And Bad Batch in the Marauder starts shooting at it.
Oh yeah.
And then Asajj is like, "They're not helping.
Your friends are making this worse." Like,
tell them I've got it. And so Omega's then like, she's got this.
Ventress has got this.
And then she sort of gets taken. Well, first she saves Omega from the tentacles because she dives in the water and cuts her free, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
But then we see sort of Asajj get taken over to the like monster. Mm-hmm. She like reaches out with the Force and basically does what Grogu did with like the Rancor. Like touches it and sort of connects with it. Mm-hmm. And then it puts her back down and then goes off. Mm-hmm. And then we get this really nice little scene, in my opinion, where the Marauder comes down, Crosshair comes sort of running down the sort of door.
Yeah. Picks up Omega.
Takes Omega in, but then he like puts his hand out to Ventress and helps her up.
Yeah.
So it's like showing that they've moved past this confrontation. And then we see them back in the cave. Mm-hmm. Ventress is like, basically with the midichlorians, some people, there's varying levels on how much you have. Yeah. She's like, you don't have like a lot, like basically. And Omega's like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I'm not a Jedi.
She's like, unless you have a lot of training, then you're not going to become a Jedi. You know, that would involve you going away from the Bad Batch and stuff.
No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that. So basically, she's like, you got you don't have a high M count basically, and Omega's disappointed. So then Wrecker is like, oh, don't worry, come on, let's get you some grub. We're looking after you, sort of thing. Let's go get some grub. So she then walks off with Omega after saying thanks, with Wrecker, after saying thanks to Asajj for trying. Mm. And then Crosshair and Hunter stay there, and they're like, you're lying.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, about which part? Mm. And he's like, you tell us. But then she's like, what I will tell you is, like, you're not safe here. Mm. You're not as safe as you think. She needs to be, like, properly trained and disciplined.
Yeah, which isn't going to happen with you guys.
Yeah, basically.
And then they're like, well, that ain't happening because she's not leaving our sight. And she's like, okay, well, she's not going to be a Jedi then.
But, yeah, and then she's like, look, you're not safe. You're not as safe as you think here, I think is what she said.
So she's like, I'd suggest moving.
Yeah. But, yeah, and then she sort of flies off, and then the episode ends.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I was a bit disappointed with this episode. I just felt it was a bit of, like I was saying to you earlier, I think it was a bit of a waste of an episode bringing back Asajj. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if they brought Asajj back just for this sort of moment. Oh, one thing I did forget is she says about the Empire is more dangerous than you think.
Oh, yeah.
And then as she's walking back to her ship, they're like, aren't you worried that the Empire is coming for you? And she's like, I've still got a few of my lives left, sort of thing. And it's like, okay, clearly she's been like resurrected. Clearly she's been like resurrected after Dark Disciples, you know. Mm. So I thought that was quite a cool little thing. Like, you haven't got rid of the story in Dark Disciples, because I think that would have upset a lot of fans. But I'm disappointed there was no Quinlan. You better turn up at some point.
I mean, this might not be the last we see of Asajj.
I get that.
So maybe there'll be another episode where it's her and Quinlan.
I get that, but I do think it is also just a bit of it was a bit dull. There wasn't really, you know, the whole story was, the best bit for me was sort of Asajj fighting with the Bad Batch and
Yeah.
like just their whole little conversations was the best bit in my opinion. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. It's not my favorite episode of the season, but I think it was quite cool to see Asajj again. But yeah, it's not one that I'd watch again and again. Yeah, I mean, I still think the two like Brex episodes with Wolf and the rest of them are like gonna be the best of this season, possibly. I don't know.
What? Even
They're the
better than the
best.
finale.
I mean,
and
I
stuff
don't
like
know
that. What are you
what's coming in
chatting?
the finale. Like, we might have quite an emotional
What are you
finale. I don't
chatting?
know. But those two episodes were my favourite. The Captain Rex ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one wouldn't be my favourite.
I'd probably give this like a 5 out of 10. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, I felt like it was just a little bit boring. You know, it was just like Asajj sort
I
of
think
testing.
it's cool to see Asajj again, and obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. It was nice to see Asajj, but I think it was just a little bit wasted for her to. Like, if it is a case of she turns up for this one episode and be
and that's
like,
it.
"Oh, I tested Omega and then I'm gone," and it was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay." So he didn't really contribute anything to Omega's training or progression in the main story. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my
I'd
opinion.
probably say the same. About 5.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that is it for the Bad Batch.
Yep.
I think I will just check the next picture we have here is the meme of the week.
Yes.
So we go on to Troopers of the Week.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into our Troopers, should we quickly give a couple of name mentions of Troopers that we've had in the past?
Yeah.
So we've had like Amy, we've had like Emily, we've had Alpine, we've had Jonah, we've had
Simply
Joseph.
Skywalking.
Simply's been on here. We've had
T-Fin.
T-Fin, good old T-Fin.
He was very nice.
Yes. Have to have a catch up with him as well. We haven't had spoke to him for a bit.
Dan. Vaughan UK.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes. We've had a lot. We've had we've had Rural.
Yeah.
Good old Rural. We haven't heard from him in a while, so we hope he's still with
okay.
us. Rural, get in touch with us, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of guests on, and we've had a lot of Troopers of the Week that we've had over the years. If you go onto our Instagram, just recently we did a post about a former Trooper of the Week of mine, Heather, who's upcycled art, vintage art, upcycled vintage art. Go check her out. She was very kindly enough last year to send me some prints, like print postcards that she does of her art.
Yep.
Very cool. She has also told me that she is working on some more Star Wars stuff. So I think I might be getting some more prints this year. So, so that's that. But we're not going to name drop people because we're not going to spoil it.
No.
But there is a few names we are, shall we say, in contact with for future guests and Troopers of the Week. These guys we think you will, really we know you will like. Yeah. So yeah, very and they're very creative as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to sort that out at some point.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll finish like the Bad Batch breakdowns and then we'll get some more guests on.
Yeah, that's again a reason, to be honest, why even though this is episode 100, like because we've got the Bad Batch breakdowns going on as well. We sort of were like, we're not going to get guests on and split up doing the breakdown because we like being able to talk about it, and we want to be able to dedicate the episode
to that person.
We don't want to have like someone come on and talk to them about half an hour about their cosplay or their art, and then it's like, right, now we're going to talk about Bad Batch. We'll talk about you.
Yeah.
We've done you. But yeah, so after the Bad Batch is done, we should be getting some cool guests on. So going to Troopers of the Week.
Yes.
My one is, shall we say, he's a recent follower of us. Let me just get him up here. Da-da-da-da. So his name is on Instagram is Captain_Gregor_557639. He is a Gregor cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
And we've not had a Gregor before,
No.
and I gotta admit, it's very cool. Like, it's a cool armor that he's got there. I mean, Gregor's a cool one anyway. Like, you can see all the different markings on his helmet, and
Why is it not focusing?
because it's an annoying camera, we have this every week. But yeah, he is there for you guys to go check out. All right.
Very cool.
So yeah, that is Captain Gregor. I will be sending him a message in a bit as well, because yeah, we want to
Very cool.
possibly get him on as a possible guest.
Yeah.
So-
Very cool armor.
That's
Very
my
cool.
trooper of the week.
Yep. So my trooper of the week is something very funny. So, basically, back in Chile, when they aired the Star Wars original film, the Episode 4, on TV, they had to have ad breaks. But what they did was they did it so it was the same ad for a beer called Cerveza Crystal, and they basically made their own advert, but it looked like the characters were like picking up this beer, and you can find it on like YouTube and TikTok and everything. Just search up Star Wars Cerveza Crystal. But there's someone that's made basically like little vintage collection looking box, and they've made the little Cerveza Crystal from all the scenes from the ads.
Yeah, so there's like a can that like Obi-Wan picks out of his robe.
This one's from Dagobah. There's the Palpatine one. It's so cool, and they've also put the like a sound effect on the box as well. So when they push the button, it's got the Cerveza Crystal. Like it actually plays the music.
It is
which
very
It's
cool.
very cool. So that is someone on Instagram called Leg Bootle Git. I think he goes by Leg Boot as well. But yes,
That is very
very
cool.
funny. Definitely check out that on YouTube. The Cerveza Crystal Star Wars.
Cerveza Crystal.
Very funny.
It's become a bit of a meme at the minute.
It has. Like I've only recently discovered it. But there's like a scene, you know, where Obi-Wan is chatting to Luke. Like this is one of the scenes, and he's like, "Oh, I have something of your father's."
He wanted
then-
you to have this when you're old enough, and it's
Yeah.
like,
All of a sudden, he opens up like this freezer, and gets out a beer. But it's funny because the actual like arm, it looks like Obi-Wan's like costume.
like a roby sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like he's going in and picking it up.
You know, it makes you want to find the beer because it's like Obi-Wan drank this. And there's like a scene with Palpatine, and he's sat on his throne on the Death Star, and obviously he's got his like arms off the edge of the chair. And then there's a scene where he's just kind of like uses the Force, and then a can just goes in his hand.
That was a good
It's
one.
hilarious, honestly, guys. Check it out because it made me laugh.
If you guys know anywhere in the UK that like sell them, let us know, because I want to use them for Will the Clone Trooper and Rex.
Yeah, use some
Um,
TikToks.
Yeah, could do like Cerveza Crystal in Clone Wars,
Yeah.
like Battle of Umbara, like Cerveza.
Yeah, and like when we used to watch it on like Cartoon Network and all that, and like there'd be like an ad break, but instead it's just
Yeah,
sort
that'd be quite cool. So if you guys know,
yeah,
let us know.
yeah. Very cool.
So we're gonna end with
Meme of the
meme of the week.
So we thought we'd do a Bad Batch one. I love this. I don't know if this is real or if this is like an AI generated image.
I think it's real. I think someone has handcrafted.
It looks
This-
so good.
So it says, "You're okay, babe?" ? question mark. You've hardly touched your sushi batch. And then it's a tray of sushi, but it is the 5 members of the Bad Batch.
So we have Wrecker's face, Echo's face, Hunter's face, Tech's face, and Crosshair's face, all made out of like sushi rice.
But they've added like other little bits to like the stuff, like little, like I don't know what you'd call these like little bits, but they've added all these details.
Like little sesame seed or something for their eye, and like
it's brilliant because it is so cleverly done that like it does look like the characters.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was quite.
And
fun.
I love sushi, so I'm like, I want a sushi batch.
You want a sushi batch?
Yeah.
Get you a sushi batch. That's what you want. But yeah, I thought that's quite
very cool.
I don't think you get this.
I want to know who
sushi.
made that.
Yeah.
Give them a shout out. Like.
I don't think they made that. I don't think they made that at Yo Sushi.
No. No.
Definitely.
What would you like, madam?
Sushi
do you do Bad Batch sushi?
Do you do sushi batch? Have to try that, see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, sorry it's been a longer one.
Yes, it has been a bit of a longer one. But we hope you guys have enjoyed this 100th episode.
Yeah.
You know, again, thank you to everyone who has over the like 2 years basically been involved with the 501st Com Chatter.
Yeah.
If you've listened to an episode, if you've got him, we're gaining a following on TikTok. We're pushing ourselves out there. You know, we are worldwide now, and we are trying to get there, and just get out to as many of you as possible.
Yeah.
No, we love doing this every week.
Yeah, I love it.
So.
And also, if you haven't seen our TikToks, we've got some funny ones. So check out the 501st Com Chatter.
Yes. We've got some controversial ones on there as well, which
split
a lot of fans, which is quite good because I like those ones. But yeah, no, definitely go check them out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for watching all these videos. I can't believe we're at 100 already. We've reached 3 digits, guys.
3 digits.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that's going to be it from us today.
Yeah. We hope you enjoy.
Yeah. We will see you guys next week. Nothing going on next year. I was trying to think of that. We're all good. So we will see you about 6 o'clock. And may the force be with you guys.